There are lots of strategies associated with getting to the end and then winning Survivor. And there are lots of viewers who don't understand those strategies. I love skepticism. I love good, meaningful engagement and communication. But I think it's just as important to point out irrational engagement. When people are missing the point and taking others down a road that isn't helpful, that takes away from reality, what's true. So, with respect to Survivor, let's look a little bit at what it takes to win and the strategies involved. Recently, for example, people have been talking about how there have been 3 in a row women voted off. And then people have often in the past talked about whether or not there should be these male alliances and all-female alliances. And what's the point of that? And isn't that kind of sexist? And that's nonsense. That's absurdity. I don't mind the question. I don't mind people wondering if there are problems or issues. But if there's someone with whom you can engage and you want to call it, for example, a penis alliance because you're all guys, or a vagina alliance because you're all women, who cares? Do it. That's not sexism. Whenever you can build a bond or a group for whatever length of time, a short period or for a longer period, that prevents you from being the one voted off, that puts the target on other people's backs. If you're in a vagina alliance and there are a bunch of men around, you can rest more relatively easily knowing that it's unlikely that you're going to go soon if there are those penises to pick off. Doesn't that make sense? Same thing vice versa. If you're hanging with the penises and you've got vaginas wandering around in camp, you know that those vaginas have to go bye-bye before they're going to start looking to see which of the penises is going to go. That's great. That's got nothing to do with sexism. That's got nothing to do with unfairness. If you want to talk more specifically about the challenges in the game and whether or not the structure of the game is such that it benefits one or the other, a penis over a vagina or a vagina over a penis, I think that's an intelligent, interesting discussion that we might have. But it's poorly and improperly focused if the discussion is about whether or not it's appropriate to group together as women or as men and to exploit the idea that we all have penises and go against the vaginas, or to exploit the idea that we all have vaginas and go against the penises. Fair tactic, good strategy. Exploit whatever you can in that moment to get you further. Are there lines that could be crossed? Sure, and let's talk about those anytime. Certainly in season 39, people thought the concept of sexual harassment was a line that shouldn't be crossed. I'm all for that. I agree. I disagree that the contestants ought to have been the ones held accountable to not cross or to cross that line. I hope you follow me. It's a little bit complicated. Just like with Johnny Fairplay's dead grandmother, there are people who thought, oh, bringing in family members and never mind talking about them as if they died when they hadn't was heinousness. Horrible enough that Johnny would be hated by any number of viewers for long, long periods. It goes all the way back to season 1. Just my being aware enough. It goes back to season 1. Just my being aware enough, sufficiently aware to manipulate others. I say influence. One word sounds better than the other. But within the context of the game, outwit, outlast, outplay, that kind of manipulation isn't just okay, it's the crux of what's necessary to move through the game to the end. And it's what's most interesting about the game to viewers, is who's willing to do the things that it takes to get through the game, and how do people respond to being engaged that way by someone willing to be that manipulative. That's the game of Survivor. And so as we move through it, seasons after seasons after seasons, we're starting to ask ourselves what would be off limits. And I agree that the act of sexually harassing someone is beyond inappropriate. It has no place in the game of Survivor. However, if you are unaware of things that are going on elsewhere in the game, and someone comes to you and suggests that this took place or that took place, you can never know what their motives are. Only the producers know what is actually happening at all times, or what has ever taken place. It's on camera. They've been exposed to it. Multiple producers have seen what has taken place, and they alone, the producers alone, should be responsible for ensuring the contestants' safety and ensuring that nothing untoward takes place. Period. That's not the responsibility of the game players. The people playing the game have got to use what they can, exploit what's available to move through the game. The producers and the rules ahead of time are what are necessary to make sure no one is harmed. Don't be fooled by anyone who says anything different. Don't let anybody tell you that it's any individual's responsibility in that game. Because not only do those producers have the responsibility to safeguard all who are there, they then have the responsibility for, as accurately as possible, showing you what took place within the game. And anything that's brought in outside the game or to make you come back to the television next week that is crossing a line, that's a decision of the producers. That's not the game players. And I'll go to my grave challenging you to be skeptical, to think critically about everything you see, about everything you've been fed in the context of a for-profit television show. 80% of you who are listening to these videos have not subscribed to my channel. Please subscribe. Just hit the subscription button and hit the notification button, and you'll be informed when I have another video up for you to listen to. After you've subscribed, comment. Comment positively, comment negatively. No holds barred. Just say what you're thinking. That's what will make our exchange even more valuable. As I'm able, I'll create new videos responsive to that commentary. So like away, or dislike, on that rare occasion you may feel the need to do so. But either way, thank you.